Now the next speaker is Mr. Hişyar ÖZSOY from Turkey on behalf of the United Left.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dear colleagues, I think here we are not, of course, talking about whether these countries had the right to derogate from certain obligations, given that all of the situations in Ukraine, in France, and in Turkey, they were highly critical. We are talking about proportionality issues, and when I read through the report, it's very clear that the situation in Turkey is extreme. In France, it was lifted, and unfortunately, France became a very, very bad example for Turkey because Turkey constantly referred to the case of France to justify the prolongation of emergency rule in the country. So it's very clear that, when a state perceives a threat to the nation, it has the right to suspend certain obligations stated in the convention. But in Turkey, we argue that emergency powers themselves became a threat to the life of the nation, to its democratic future. Because the government has been using the coup attempt as an opportunity not only to repress the opposition in the lead up to the presidential elections, they have also issued over 30 decrees with the power of law in order to structure both the society and the political system. And these changes are not being monitored by the judicial process or by the parliament, because our parliament is mostly dysfunctional and our judiciary is totally dependent on the government. It is actually, our argument is working under direct orders from the government. So under these circumstances, we do think that we want to underline the fact that emergency powers in Turkey are a threat to the life of the nation. We have held the referendum on presidential system last year under emergency conditions. And as an opposition party whose 6,000 members are already in prison, including our co-chairs and members of parliament and mayors, it was extremely difficult even to have the campaign under those horrible conditions of emergency rule. And now, in about 2 months, we are going to have the presidential elections in Turkey. These are not normal elections. These elections are not about who is going to rule the country. These elections are about a new political system. And if the government is successful, we will have a highly authoritarian, even dictatorial system in the country. And the emergency rule powers have been used by the government, together with their allies, to establish this very authoritarian system. So in that sense, we perceive these emergency powers as a threat to the life of the nation, and we repeat that elections should not be held under emergency rule. Thank you.
Thank you.